Okay, so let's jump in. For anyone who's, mastered the basics of coding, there's this next big hurdle.
Right.
Moving into how real-world scalable applications are actually built. Our mission here is to really cut through the noise in the source material and give you a shortcut to that professional architecture.
And it all comes down to one word, integration. Full stack development isn't just knowing a bunch of languages.
No.
It's about how three layers successfully connect. You have the front end, which is what the user sees,
The UI.
the UI, then the back end, which is all the business logic, and finally the database for storing the data.
And the sources are all basically screaming one thing about this. The flow between these layers has to be fast and it has to be secure.
Mhm.
They lay out the six-step request loop. My first thought is, why 6 steps? Isn't that just adding complexity?
It's a great question. It seems like it, but those steps are all about security and reliability. The whole loop has to ensure everything is processed correctly.
Okay, so walk me through it.
It starts simple. Step 1. A user interacts with the UI, clicks a button.
Got it.
Step 2. The front end sends off an API request. Now, step 3 is where the magic happens. The back end gets the request, but it validates it first.
Ah, so it doesn't just pass it along.
Never.
Yeah.
It checks if it's safe. Only then, step 4, does it execute the database query. That validation step is the hidden hero of the whole process.
I see.
After that, it's quick. Step 5, the response is sent back to the front end. And step 6, the UI updates for the user. If you skip those checks, you're opening a huge security hole.
So let's focus on the front end's job for a second. It's consuming that API, right? Using tools like Fetch or Axios to send JSON back and forth.
Exactly. But as the application gets bigger, the real headache becomes state management.
State management, what do we mean by that, really?
Well, local state is easy. That's just data one little component needs. The problem is sharing data across many screens.
Right.
The sources call it prop drilling. Imagine passing a piece of data down through 10 layers of components just to get it to the 11th.
That sounds like a nightmare, a tangled mess.
It is. And that's the problem. The tools like Redux or a simpler one like ZooStand are built to solve. They create a global state.
A single source of truth.
Exactly. No more drilling. And beyond that, the front end has to be smart about performance. Things like lazy loading and code splitting are essential so the app feels fast.
So once that clean request is sent, the back end takes over the heavy lifting.
Right. API design and business logic. And the sources are clear. A clean API design makes the front-end developer's life so much easier.
How so?
It's about being predictable, using RESTful conventions, proper HTTP methods, get to fetch, post to create, and so on. But really, the main thing they hammer home is that security is not optional.
Okay, let's get into the jargon there because that's where people can get lost. We hear things like JWT, bcrypt, CoreS. What's the absolute need to know?
Let's break it down. JWT, or JSON Web Tokens, that's like a digital passport. It proves the user is who they say they are with every single request.
Okay, so that's authentication.
Correct. But that passport is useless if the keys are easy to steal. So you have to hash your passwords with something strong, like bcrypt. Never store them in plain text.
Got it. What about CORS?
CORS basically tells the browser which websites are allowed to request data from your backend. It's like a bouncer for your API.
That planning seems to extend all the way down to the database. Whether it's SQL or NoSQL, what's the core trade-off there?
It really comes down to structure versus flexibility. SQL, like PostgreSQL, is highly structured. Great for complex data, like bank records.
NoSQL?
Like MongoDB. It's super flexible. It scales incredibly well when you have massive amounts of simple, fast-changing data. But for both, the key is indexing. That's how you get performance.
So if we pull it all together, the main lesson from all the sources is that this is about integration, not isolated skills.
Absolutely. A clean API, thinking about security from day one. It all simplifies the entire process. And you have to plan for scale from the beginning, with things like a modular code structure and API versioning.
That actually sets up the next logical step perfectly. The source materials allude to future topics like deployment, CI/CD, cloud hosting. So let me leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on.
Sure.
We've established that security and scalability have to be planned early in the code.
Right, from day one.
So the question is, what essential infrastructure steps, things beyond the code, do you need to start preparing for today? I'm thinking containerization, maybe serverless architectures, to ensure a seamless move to the cloud tomorrow.
That's the key. That readiness begins long before you ever click deploy.